quick conversation about skepticism, and then we've got a bit of an activity to reflect on different types of doubt, and then I'm going to conclude with different types of skepticism. So we're going to talk a bit of a difference between them. So firstly, in Australia, we spell skepticism with a C. Okay, so it's the Americans that do it with the K, so C please. And we should be thinking skepticism, you know, like where do we first sort of see that pop up? Ultimately in sort of written philosophy is in Descartes, right? Okay, in his meditations, I've recommended, have a listen to it, have a read of it. It's short and it's easy to follow, and it's interesting, you know. So first let's look at ways that we can be skeptical, okay? So I've just got up here, I just chose these two because I think they're quite easy to talk about levels of skepticism, okay? So let's take science, okay? You can be skeptical of a scientific claim, okay? So, you know, if you read some modern geology textbooks, they'll tell you the Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago. So it's coalescing sort of stardust, clumping together when the solar system formed an accretion disk. That was the formation of the Earth. You could be skeptical of a claim of science, okay? So that's sort of one level, skeptical of a claim. Then, even more fundamental to that, you could be skeptical of the process of science, okay? So what is the process of science? We are going to have a lesson on this, but what is it in short? What are you doing in science? Can you tell me?
Inducing things?
Yep, by induction, so it's a method of induction. So what does that mean? It means making an observation, okay? Drop the pen, fell to the ground, drop the pen, fell to the ground, and then from the observations arriving at a general principle. That's what science is, observation, and then arriving at a general principle, okay? So you can be skeptical of that process. You could say, no, that's not going to get anywhere. You know, that's not going to take you to any truth. All right. So you know, you see how that's far more significant level of doubt, isn't it? You know, you're not just doubting a claim; you're doubting the whole process. And if the whole process is wrong, what does that entail? That every single scientific proposition is wrong. Okay. And then lastly, you could doubt, well, that the physical world exists, that it's all an illusion, okay? So you're not doubting the process, all right? You're doubting that the world and such exists, and so therefore the process isn't going to come to any relevant truths either. Okay, similarly with morality, you can doubt a moral claim, you can doubt that murder is wrong, all right? You can doubt the process that we use to arrive at moral claims. So you can say, I doubt that feelings and intuition can tell you the truth about morality, or you doubt that reason can inform moral claims. And then even more fundamental to that, you can doubt that there's any such thing as right or wrong whatsoever. Okay, so we've got these levels of doubt, and see how if you doubt down here, then you necessarily doubt the ones above. That this is sort of heaps fundamental. And when we have discussions with one another, most of our doubts, most of the skepticism we have is at this top level. Right? Most of us do agree with some of these fundamental principles, especially with people that aren't philosophically literate. Okay, heaps of people don't even know what this means. Everyone just assumes it, don't they? Everyone just lives morality as if it's true, all right, and that their sense of it is the correct one. And similarly, like in the world of science, you know, the world that we inhabit, no one goes around like living like they doubt the existence of the world. You know, they don't step in front of a truck saying the truck doesn't exist. We all act as if the world exists, and we all act as if moral realism is true. So it's only in philosophy that we start to be skeptical of these ones. So we'll talk very quickly about Hume's radical skepticism. Okay, so Hume we talked about as an empiricist the other day, contrasted with Descartes, the rationalist. So let's quick recap of that. Rationalism says we arrive at truth through reason. It's not that we doubt our senses, but rather our senses can be doubted, and so we need something fundamental that says we can trust them. All right, and it can't be sense data, because as Descartes demonstrates, you can throw doubt on any sense data, you know, given a radical enough thought experiment. So we need something fundamental, and he builds it up from the top, right? That's what Descartes does. Whereas Hume says anything metaphysical, anything analytical like that, chuck it in the flames, okay? The only way we can build up knowledge is through this sense data. That's the only useful thing. But then he also concludes this, well, we actually can't arrive at knowledge because empiricism is induction. It's observation, observation, observation. And it doesn't matter how many times you drop the pen to the ground, you can never be sure that the next time you drop it, it won't float up. Okay? And so for Hume, it's like, well, yeah, things seem to act according to these patterns, but we can't know for sure. We can't have certainty of it. All right? Okay, so let's talk about these types of doubt, and then we'll get into this activity. So I'm going to offer 3 types of doubt here, and I've got this straight out of a book. So I'm reasonably, I think I'm okay with the wording of it, and maybe we can have a bit of a debate about whether you think these things are the same or not. I'm gonna try and argue that they're different. So the first is vulgar doubt, which is where you just think a proposition is false. Okay? And I'm going to argue that is different from careful doubt, where you don't think a proposition is true. Okay, so you hear a proposition, you go, no, that's false. Okay, that's vulgar doubt. You hear a proposition, you go, I don't think that's true. Who agrees there's a difference there? All right, Flynn, do you think there's a difference? Or are they the same, do you reckon? You're happy that there's a difference? Okay, good. So we're all on the same page there, right? It's like, in common parlance, you'd probably say, no, there's no significant difference there. But we're just being very careful about the way we use words. And so we'll say, there is a difference here. One is like, no, it's false. And this one's like, I don't think it's true. And then lastly, I don't think it's true because I've got these reasons for believing it's not true. All right? I think it's false because I've got these reasons for believing it's false. So, Caitlin, can you make any proposition for me? I'm gonna throw some vulgar doubt on it. I'm gonna show you any proposition. Go. An assertive statement. Make an assertion. Anything. You just make a statement.
Emma is good at soccer.
I doubt that. Okay, vulgar doubt. All right, I just said I doubt it. I don't really doubt it, Emma. I know you're a gun. All right, I know you're a gun. But I was just demonstrating vulgar doubt. Okay. All right. Flynn, can you make another proposition or throw some careful doubt?
Some careful doubt. Ooh. The tablecloth is green.
I don't think that's true.
Why not?
I'm just throwing careful doubt on it. So you see the difference? I doubt it, and I don't think that's true. Who really knows what colour is? All right. Okay, and then let's get into philosophical doubt. Jensen.
The whiteboard is white.
I don't think it's white because I think you're colourblind. All right, so let's look at the 3 differences there. All right, so here I was like, just nah. Okay, here I was like, nah, we don't really know. Sort of just this sort of casual, careful, sort of skeptic attitude towards the proposition. And then here, no, I'm providing a strong reason. All right. At the end of this one, I was very deliberate about what I said. I said, who really knows what colour is anyway? Okay, so I'm not making a case that I've got reasons to believe you're wrong. I'm just saying, who really knows? All right. So we've got 3 types here, and we've got an activity. I'm going to hand it out now. We work in pairs. We've got enough pairs. So I'll hand out sheet for you guys. Yeah, let's stop that. Stop that.
Fine.
Pause it.